And the third example of abundance, and this will be the last example found in the Bible, I'm going to go to the New Testament for this one, is Acts chapter 11. This is a really good one. I love this. Acts 11, verse 27 to 30. During this time, some prophets came down to Jerusalem to Antioch. One of them, named Agabus, stood up and through the Spirit predicted that a severe famine would spread over the entire Roman world. This happened during the reign of Claudius. Verse 29, the disciples, as each one was able, decided to provide help for the brothers and sisters living in Judea. It's amazing. They did, sending their gift to the elders by Barnabas and Saul. So, they're in Antioch. A prophet speaks, and he says there's a famine coming upon the whole Roman Empire, and they were part of that. And historians speak of Antioch as it was a mission sending center. They raised up missionaries and they shipped them out. They just boom, and so it was a great place to raise up men and women of God. And they were doing a great job. And so they hear of a famine covering, and it's going to cover everything, the whole known world at the time. So what do? They take up an offering to send it to Judea, back to Jerusalem. They take up an offering for somebody else, and they took this offering up to honor the fathers of the gospel that come out of there, because the gospel originated there, and they were honoring them. They were sending them money to take care of their brethren in Judea. It's amazing. You think about it. Now, if we hear of a famine, we better hoard, we better keep our money, we better hold back, because there's a famine coming along the land, and we better not take any chances. These guys take up an offering and send it to another province. So, in a time of famine. And it's amazing. I find that amazing. And I wrote this: they lived in the realm of the courageous. Not just for a weekend set of meetings. This was their place of habitation. They lived in a realm of courageousness, and it was their place of habitation. They lived in this. They had no fear. They were not sissies. They didn't cry and worry, about all the woe is me kind of stuff. There's a famine coming. Oh, how could God do this? And you read the rest of Acts, and there's not one mention of the big bad famine anymore. There wasn't any chapters written to the devastation that the famine brought across the land. My thought is, could it be that their act of obedience stopped this from happening? Their risk. They took a risk and invested into the kingdom. Could it be that their act of obedience changed everything? Because there's no mention of the big bad famine anymore. The intimidating famine, it's gone. So now I want to go one step further. That's the three examples. And I want to read you something here and see what you think of this. Mark chapter 13, verse 5 to 8 said, Jesus said to them, "Watch out that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name, claiming I am he, and will deceive many. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen." Remember that right there. Such things must happen. But the end is still to come. So it's not there yet. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famines. And these are the beginning of birth pangs. So we've been taught over and over, the end times is like, you got to look for these signs and then you need to get ready. But what Jesus was announcing here to his church at the time, to his people at the time, that he was announcing to the conditions that he was going to send his end time church into. And he's telling them, go and make a difference in those places. Where there's wars, where there's famines. Maybe if Bill Jobs would have heard this, he wouldn't have turned his back on God. Or Steve Jobs, yeah. Whatever. A guy. He turned his back because nobody was doing anything about these famines and these starving children. And God was looking at him and saying, that's your job. Go do something about it. But the pastor didn't know how to answer him, so he turned his back on God. And so he was announcing to his church that I'm sending you out in these conditions. Wars, rumors of wars, famines. Don't hide. Don't stock up for yourself. Get out there and make changes. Go make a difference. God is telling us today to go make a difference. Quit making excuses.